Hey guys, on today's episode, we ask this burning question. Are women fit to be cops? It's going to be a controversial one. Stay tuned.
That's a good one.
This is the 911Strong podcast.
Station to all units.
Prepare to copy.
You're listening to the 911Strong podcast.
Don't act like I never told you.
With Aram and Kristen, bringing you stimulating discussion.
No, I like the sound of that.
An entertaining conversation.
And now, here's Kristen and Aram.
Hey guys, thank you for joining us on the 911Strong podcast. We know you have your choice to listen to anything on your drive or in your office or in your homes, and we certainly appreciate the fact that you decided to tune in to us. It means a lot to us because we're surging in the ratings, and without your support, we'd just be a couple of guys, ladies and gals, sitting on this clubhouse that we made, talking to each other. But no, we really appreciate being able to have these discussions with you and entertaining with you. And we all we ask, we don't ask for money or anything. All we ask is that you subscribe, you give us a 5-star rating, and leave us a positive review. And that puts you in the running for some pretty awesome gifts that we have coming up next week, actually. We're going to be giving away a mug, a couple of books, T-shirts, and some other goodies that we're still finalizing. But the only way to get into the running is if you subscribe, you like, and leave a review. And if you want some extra brownie points, share us with your friends. All right. With that said, Kristen, what's new?
Well, I did kind of want to touch on a video that kind of went viral last week or so about the female officer that was in our area that ended up getting into a fight with a bigger subject. And
Oh, yeah. That video went viral.
yeah, it was pretty shocking to see. So just wanted to send her some well wishes and hope she recovers safely.
Yeah, I don't know if she's listening, but we certainly have a lot of mutual friends that know her. So if they're listening, please let her know that she has our support. But yeah, it was really unfair how they treated her on social media, wasn't it?
Completely. Yeah, completely.
I mean, they didn't have the background. All they went off of was a video that was really hard to see anyway.
Yes.
For the large part of the video was covered by a tree.
Right, yeah.
But unfortunately, it made the news, and it made its rounds through social media, and I think she was very unfairly treated.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this because we have mutual friends. I'm saying that this could have been anybody.
Yeah, anyone.
And did it make a difference that she was a female?
I think so. I think they judge differently because she is female.
Okay. Are there actually people out there that believe females shouldn't be cops?
Unfortunately, yeah, there are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you right now.
I guess that kind of says what my stance is on it, huh?
That's what I was going to say. For people that are angrily listening right now,
Yeah.
our position is absolutely females are fit to be cops. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. And we're going to talk about some of the people that have negative things to say about cops. You ran across an article online that had some pretty nasty things to say about cops.
It did, yeah.
And I don't even want to protect these people, because they put it out on the internet, but it came from a website. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I just Googled, should women be police officers, just to see what came up first. And the first one was this horrible one from, we're putting out their names, I guess.
They put it out there for the public, so I don't care.
Return of Kings. I don't know what they're kings of, but their way of expressing their opinion is that the females are weak and go down too easily, lazy, slow, and incompetent, too soft and easily scared, and too dependent on male officers.
All right, let's do this just for
gosh.
fun. Because what if we put that caption that it's male officers? Now read that again with the perspective of now this is male officers. Do we have male officers that are too slow and too weak to fight?
Yeah.
Do we have male officers that are out of shape, too small?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It goes both ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I'll tell you right now, I've been a cop for almost 20 years, and I've worked with a lot of female officers that are very, very capable. Are there some officers who happen to be female that are out of shape? Absolutely. But are there male officers that are completely out of shape? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, there's hundreds of memes out there of the donut cop, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's your gender is regardless.
Yes.
It really doesn't make a
matter.
difference.
Yeah.
Why can't I think of words today?
I don't know.
I'm usually
rubbing off on you.
I'm usually a walking thesaurus. A thesaurus is not a dinosaur, by the way.
It's not?
No.
Oh, gosh.
That's a dad joke. But I'm usually not for a lack of words, and it sometimes gets me in trouble. But But today, for whatever reason, during our pre-show, I couldn't think of words as she was finishing my sandwiches. That was another dad reference from Frozen. But look, females absolutely have a place in law enforcement, and I absolutely think they fill a void that males can't fit, such as we talked about this earlier, rape victims.
Yeah.
Female rape victims sometimes feel more comfortable talking to females.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that is?
I mean, generally speaking, most of the time, the predator is male.
Right.
So why are they going to want to share something so private to another male officer, you know? And I think obviously, I know it goes both ways, but generally speaking, if you want to talk about a sensitive topic, especially about anything sexual, you'd rather talk to a female, someone who's the same, who would understand. And then also, you know, kids sometimes would rather talk to females than males as well.
Yeah, we have a lot of child abuse cases, emotional abuse cases, and a lot of times female officers are more approachable, I guess, right? And they come off less abrasive than male officers. Although we do have some female officers that come off very abrasive too, right? That leads me to this article I found written by a female officer who's a staff writer for Uniform Stories. And this article can be found on policeone.com. I'm not getting any money from policeone.com. So if you're listening, send us some money because we need some sponsors. But she says she's been an experienced police officer, and the title of this one is 10 Ways Law Enforcement Ruined Me as a Woman. I'm just going to read you a couple of them.
I can't wait to hear it.
Number one, I've lost my fashion sense. I mean, it's true, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we're so used to wearing gym clothes or sweats to work.
Yeah.
And a lot of times after we get off work, we're right back in it.
Yeah.
And then we still have to live our daily lives. We go grocery shopping and we're in our workout clothes or sweats or whatnot. It's just notorious. I mean, because if you think about it, you're wearing your clothes to work, and then you wear a uniform for 13 hours, and then you wear the same clothes back from work, and you're not living in it because as soon as we go home, we throw it off, and we're wearing comfortable house clothes or whatnot. So, yeah, I see why people would say you wear the same thing all the time.
I get that.
This one says, I prefer shiny accessories in gunmetal gray. I think that's awesome because, I do know some officers that get excited when they buy new equipment that happens to be shiny, and anything that's black or gray is considered tactical now.
Yeah.
So. Let's see. Number 3, I am not a damsel in distress. Yeah,
that's for sure. She can handle her own.
Exactly. This one I thought was interesting. Female cops have moxie. And she wrote, while I think this is an attractive trait, many people shy away from us, but just because I'm a tenacious and independent doesn't mean I'm not a lady. I still know how to bat my eyes. Does that count? But yeah, do some people like if you're a man who's not a cop and you're on a blind date with a woman, you find out she's a cop, does that change your impression, you think?
I think it just depends on how, what's the word I'm looking for? How secure the male is.
Yeah.
I guess maybe he can be demasculated if he's like, because she doesn't need him.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
it's true.
But that's the times we're living in for the most part. Like best females should be independent. We should be able to take care of our own. So, I mean, that's just my perspective.
Yeah. I mean,
so I guess,
totally I mean, it's another subject for another day, but I think the males.
I think it should be a thing to be proud of.
Yeah, but also I think males have that desire to be the provider, the protector.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it takes away from that a little bit when you think, but it's not the case. I mean, we know plenty of marriages that involve female officers where the female allows their non-officer male to make a lot of decisions, and we always joke about that. If the men wear the pants in the relationship, it's because the woman lets them.
True.
Right. So
true story.
Anyway, okay, let's move on because that's a totally different subject.
To be continued.
We become socially awkward. And I think that's interesting. She starts with saying she's downright antisocial. I would say I was more of an extrovert than I am now. Now, I used to want to be at every party. I used to want to be surrounded by people all the time. But I don't know. Now I don't. I enjoy my time at home, sitting next to my wife watching TV. As a matter of fact, if I come home, because I work on the weekends, if I come home on the weekends and friends and family are over, I'm like, I'm going to find a reason to be late. Not that I don't love you if you're listening. Not that I don't love you.
Why do you think we work the weekends? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, that's not it. But, it's sometimes you work 13-hour shift and you're surrounded by people you don't know. The last thing you want to do is be around people in general.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes, for me, kids don't listen, but I like my pour of whiskey.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a whiskey snob, and sometimes I like my pour, and I like to be alone for a few minutes to decompress, and then I'm ready to party, whatever it takes. But yeah, I get what she's saying there. This one I thought was funny. Sometimes I channel my inner truck driver. No offense to truck drivers, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I have a sailor's mouth, right, or a construction worker's mouth. No, whatever reference you want to make.
I do,
but
and it's horrible.
Yeah, but it does come out, right? Because you're surrounded by it all day long, and it's
I think I'm like that in the car more so because it's not recorded.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, this woman right here, and Danny, who's sitting right here, can attest to it. She is just. I mean,
I try to stop.
If you see blonde hair and a finger flying out of the window, it's probably, and it's on the 10 freeway, it's probably this one right here.
People who have experienced LA traffic get that. No.
Not me. My windows are rolled up.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, so I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah, you know, I think women get an unfair rap because it wasn't. We're not that far removed from when women were housewives, right?
Right.
If you look at the old TV shows in the 50s and 60s, women weren't in the workforce. They were the ones that dolled themselves up in dresses, did their hair and makeup, and had their drink ready for their man when they come through the door after work.
Yeah.
And we're only like 50 years removed from that.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I guess we're 70 years now. Jeez. I keep thinking...
Well, my math sucks, so it sounded good to me.
Well, yeah. I keep thinking we're like in the early 2000s, right? Like, because Y2K and the millennium was such a big deal.
Oh, that was... Yeah.
But if we think about it, we're only months away from 2020. That's crazy.
It's scary.
But still, we're only... Let's just put it this way. We're one generation removed from that mentality, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't until women really... The women independence movement, the equal rights movement pushed forward, I think, in the late 70s and early 80s, that women went into the workforce and became CEOs of companies, that it really put them in positions where now you started seeing more prevalent females prevalently in the police force. But it's not like it's new.
Right.
We have officers from the 30s. We have pictures in our hallways from officers in the 30s that were female.
Yeah.
Their uniforms are different. They wore skirts.
Right. Yeah.
And at least at our agency in Los Angeles area, police officer badges said policeman on it. It wasn't changed until I think the 50s. So a female officer would wear a badge that said policeman on it.
Yeah.
And have no problems with it. I mean, she knew that.
They knew what they signed up for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think they went in there knowing that it was going to be a rough territory for them, that they weren't going to be welcome. But we definitely know.
They had to prove their own.
Yeah. And we had a couple of retired female captains at our agency that went through all that. They came up through the 70s and 80s. And I feel for them for what they went through. Because we were still at the height of gender discrimination, at the height of racism. And, if you look at some of these officers that are just retiring now, when they were starting out on the job, it was a lot different, right?
Oh, completely.
So, what are some of the differences that you think a woman can bring to the job than a male officer?
I think their verbal judo might be a little bit different, or just their empathy or sympathy towards the victims. Maybe. I mean, I know that there's some men that can do that really well, also, but I think they can have a softer side to things, and being softer isn't always a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like you can let your walls down when it comes to certain victims or certain crimes.
Sure.
And show that you do care.
What do you think? I didn't mean to cut you off there. We'll go back to your thought, but just while it's fresh, I forget. When it comes to interacting with suspects,
I mean, they cannot take them seriously. So they do have to have that command presence to be able to, and they do have to prove themselves, whether it's good, right, wrong, or bad. They do. It's just the nature of the beast with what type of job they have. Do
you think that maybe the response from the suspect might be different too when it comes?
It might. I mean, there's been some suspects that have said that they didn't shoot them or attack them because they were females.
Right.
So in some instances, it can help them.
Sure. And I think it works for males too. I think one of the biggest things I learned as an officer, especially a young officer, was when I was young, I looked really, really young. People don't believe I'm 65 years old right now, right? I just don't age. But when I was 22 years old and a brand new officer, I was doing that puffing of the chest, and I was telling grown men, 35, 40-year-old prisoners, parolees, third strikers, how to do what I wanted them to do. And they could tell, not based on what I looked like, but how I projected myself. I was
Yeah.
green. I was new.
Right.
And what it is it's a false confidence. You're
Yeah.
trying to project this confidence. But
Yeah.
it took me a while, but I eventually learned when I come in calm and controlled,
Yeah.
and I'm not yelling, I get a lot more compliance because it's separate from what they expect.
Yeah.
And I think that's in a lot of ways when a female officer approaches a bad guy, someone that would otherwise challenge a male officer, they might think twice about that because the approach that comes from a female officer might be a little softer, I think. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not coming off like two men puffing their chest like it's a challenge.
Yeah.
It's more like, hey, I don't want conflict. Whether you're a male or female, hey, I don't want conflict. I'm
Yeah.
doing my job.
Yeah.
We're both here. Let's just get through this and figure
Yeah.
this out. I think once I learned that approach, life became a lot easier for me.
Yeah.
It used to be use of force, use of force, use of force.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I don't remember the last time I got into a tussle. And
Yeah.
which is great because I got tired of hurting myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Nowadays, it's not even worth it anyways.
Yeah. We're, a lot of times when the video cameras pop up and we end up on YouTube, they're not catching the part that got us involved in
They
that
never
conflict.
do.
Yeah, they catch the part where we win,
Yeah.
and it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
Use of force is ugly, and
Yeah.
but it's a necessary part of our job. There's
Yeah.
a reason why we go through defensive tactics training.
Exactly.
It's a necessary part of the job, and unfortunately, it looks ugly.
Yeah.
But use of force is required.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
What do you think the future looks like for female officers? Do you think that these early pioneers, the women that came up in the 80s and 90s and the early 2000s really made it more acceptable to be a female? Or do you think
Yeah.
they still are going to encounter the same challenges?
I think they'll still encounter some challenges, but I think it's becoming more and more acceptable, especially with like social media. They're putting themselves out there a lot more. And I think I've been seeing more and more females apply. So that's great. I encourage it. If that's the job you want to do, I think you should really understand all the risks that are involved.
Sure.
And that goes with any male or female, but yeah, go for it. They can do it.
Absolutely.
They can definitely do it.
They're winning CrossFit championships.
Yeah. Women are.
This is
They're
definitely
bad.
the era of girl power.
Yeah, definitely.
We're starting to see a
Definitely.
lot more heads
We're all
of departments.
moving on up. Yeah.
Starting to see a lot more heads of departments that are females
Yeah,
too.
some female chiefs. That's awesome.
Yeah, Beverly Hills has a female chief. She actually was in the running to become chief of our agency, and it's a testament to it's no longer, hey, I'm just happy to be in this job, competing with men. Now it's like, hey, I'm in this
They're
job.
gunning for positions.
I deserve to be in this job, and I deserve to run this department if I want to.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think it's a good influence to have. I'll admit this: when you put a group of guys together, especially all Type A alpha guys, we're all puffing our chests. We may all seem like we are civil and cordial with each other, but we're all sizing each other up.
Yeah.
That's just how guys work. And it's the same thing that occurs out in the street. Guys size each other up. But at the end of the day, I think females bring something to the job that's separate from that.
Yeah.
They're not puffing their chest at us.
Yeah.
And I think guys receive them differently as well.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So, we brought a lot of people. I'm sure a lot of people tuned in this episode saying, what the heck are they going to say about female officers? And, I hope you're surprised to know that it was positive. The title of this episode, if you're not aware, is Are Women Fit to Be Cops? And the answer, if we hadn't made it clear, is absolutely. It's a resounding yes.
Abso-freaking-lutely.
Yes. All right. Well, I think we kind of tossed that one on pretty good. Do you have some announcements coming up?
Again, I just wanted to mention that on the 28th, we'll be at Pro Force in
Yeah,
Brea.
it's coming up. That's like 11, 10,
few days?
a couple weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. No, a few days, not a couple weeks.
Oh, it's a few days.
A few days. But so we'll be there and we'll be on the Squad Room podcast with Garrett Tesla. So that's going to be exciting and a little change up for us. And they'll be doing some giveaways. We'll have some of our gear to give away too. So it'll be amazing to meet you guys and have you come down and support the Squad Room, support Pro Force, and support us. And then you mentioned we're going to be doing our giveaway. So
Yeah.
if you guys went in on it, this is the time to do it.
Well, yeah. Actually, anybody that shows up, not anybody, but I don't know how many people are going to show up, but the first 300 people that show up and say what's up to us get a limited time offering of our 911Strong podcast wristbands. We only have 300 made. I don't know if we're going to make any more. So if you want one, it says the 911 Strong podcast on one side, and on the other side it says faith, family, and freedom. And
Yes.
I think it's going to be a sexy wristband, if I say so myself, because I designed it. But yeah, they're rare. They're going to be collector's items one day when this podcast lands number one
Just
on the charts. But it might be a discussion starter when people say, "Hey, faith, family, freedom." What does that mean? If it opens the door to talk about God, if it opens the door to talk about family values, or opens the door to talk about the positivity of law enforcement, we encourage that. So we're going to be giving those away. What else?
That's all I had on my end of it. How about you?
That's it. We're getting really good feedback on the special episode we had with Jason Wesley. We had
That was a good one. I'm sorry I missed it.
Yeah, a
That was
two-part
amazing.
episode. But it was something different. We don't normally talk politics or conservative or liberal agenda, but it was nice. It was a nice way to do it. And I prefaced that when we spoke to Jason during the pre-show. I said, "Hey, man, the last thing I want on a new podcast is to have that amount of controversy that would land us negatively on the news." He's all, "I got your back." And the next thing you know, we're talking about some controversial stuff. So if you haven't heard that yet, it's up now on Spotify, Google Play, and Apple iTunes, or wherever you listen to your podcast. But it's also up on YouTube. A lot of people don't know that our podcast is available on YouTube. So I've actually had some people message me telling me that they don't have any of the podcast apps, so they put YouTube on and listen to the audio in the background while the video plays.
Okay.
But we spend a tremendous amount of time editing our videos, so pay attention to it because I outsource the video editing because I'm not great at it.
I'm horrible.
But no, we put a tremendous amount of time on it. I think it shows a little bit of our personality, and in the near future, we'll be doing our ad placement too. So if you know, or if you're a business that would like to place an ad on us, we're open to it and we'd like to talk to you. And you can reach out to us at info at 911strong.com, or you can message Kristen independently at Kristen, Kristen, at 911strong.com, and yours truly, Aram, which is the hardest four-letter word name to spell. It's Aram.
Not Aaron.
Not Aaron or Adam. I get Adam a lot.
Yeah.
It's Aram, Aram, at 911strong.com. And you can follow us on social media. Kristen is at?
Dispatcher Kristen.
And that's on Facebook and Instagram.
Yes.
And I'm also on the same platforms as 911 Strong. Well, that's it. Thanks for another great episode, Kristen. Thanks for joining us, taking your time away from your family. And quiet Danny sitting over there. Thank you for monitoring. Anyways, we know you guys have your choice of any podcast or radio program to listen to, and we appreciate you guys tuning in and playing us in your office, your homes, and on your drives, and sharing us with your family. We're a family-friendly show. You're never going to catch us talking about anything that you wouldn't want your kids listening to. So we appreciate your support, and we depend on your support. So give us those 5 stars, subscribe to us so that you know when a new episode shows up, and leave us a review. Give us some positive feedback, and it encourages us to keep doing what we're doing. Because we're doing this for free.
We are.
And but we're doing this because we feel like it gives us a platform to share our beliefs and to share it with you and to promote some positive discussion. So thanks for joining us, guys, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Thank you. We truly appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
We need to really work on a catchphrase.